Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is the topic of why are politicians so useless? So for this video, I'm going to explain in a simple and straightforward way the topic of why they are so useless when it comes to actually fulfilling their promises that they make. Not only to satisfy people's curiosity, if you're curious to know it, but also something that can serve as a learning lesson that you can learn that can of course help you in life, when it comes to relating of course to politics, okay? A life lesson that you can learn so you're not taken advantage of by people like Donald Trump and all these type of people who say they're going to rescue you, okay? Which I'll reserve for the end of the video, okay? So now that I've mentioned that, let's get started. So, when it comes to the topic of why politicians are useless, the first reason why is due to corporations. So, when it comes to this one, out of the first of the three main reasons why politicians are so useless, is that most politicians, if not all at this point, at the very least, more likely, it's more a case of the vast majority to, if not all of them, when it comes to the most powerful politicians, okay, all of them, for that matter, are owned by corporations, okay? Corporations pretty much own them now due to lobbyism, and stuff like that. And even, of course, campaign donations and stuff corporations have given to politicians. They just pretty much at this point control them. Well, not even pretty much, they literally just about control them, okay? Because with corporations in control, okay, of course, no shit, to be quite blunt and honest with you, okay, they control them through money because a lot of politicians, in order to do their campaigns, need money. And as a result of them needing money, guess who has a lot of money? These businesses. And a lot of these businesses set them up and they create a culture of corruption. Like if you're a politician, you even have a decent amount of friends. You have some friends who are corrupt because they work for the corporation. So it puts pressure on you to do it and all sorts of things. But to make things simple, to sum it up, they're controlled by corporations, okay? So as a result, they're going to act more in the interest of the corporation more than actually in the interest of the everyday to day people, okay? If they say they're going to do this and they're going to do that, specifically things, like we're going to help build infrastructure, we're going to build more hospitals, we're going to put a lot of effort into ending poverty, you know, we're going to do this other thing that's going to make life so much better and easier for everybody. Like for example, maybe we might create this new project, like let's just say it's a country that, you know, like, just giving these example, maybe let's just say maybe it's like, to make this as easy as possible, like let's just say Japan, okay, and they're saying they're going to build a massive, road that can connect, or whatever they call it, bridge, more like, okay, we're going to connect the main island of Japan, which is Honshu, with the other two main islands. The first one, of course, to the top being Hokkaido, and the other one, I don't know exactly what the name of it is, but the third main island, if you know the history of Japan, you'll know what I'm talking about. But anyway, the point is the three main islands of Japan through a massive road. The truth of the matter is, if they say they're going to do that, or even set up a really good boat, you know, um, route that makes it very possible to travel very easily, or airplane, whatever, the truth of the matter is due to corporate interest, which is like this literally throughout the whole planet, that's not really going to happen, okay? Because the corporations will make them not be able to live up to the promises because some of those things that they might want to actually achieve go against what sometimes the corporations of course, want to happen, because they have their own personal interest, as for that matter. So some of the things that politicians say they're going to do, specifically when it comes to actually making the lives of people better, like maybe, for example, we'll build more gyms, we'll build more hospitals and this and that. The corporations are not going to like that because they're making a bunch of money off of the misery of the everyday people. So why the fuck are they gonna have that change? It's common sense 101. So in short, to answer your question, they're not really able to change things because the corporations won't let them, okay? That's the first main reason why politicians are so useless, okay? The corporations don't want them to change. The second main reason is that, when it comes to why politicians are so useless, is that in this day and age, as if you're familiar with the world we live in now, like this is 2026. This is not hundreds to thousands of years ago, which if you're interested in history, you realize that people back then who were in power really got shit done. The truth of the matter is when you are a politician, okay, or a big figure, okay, whether it could be a powerful member of the elite, that make up like the house of like you know of parliament or something for whatever nation you live in, or even of course the very president of the nation. The truth of the matter is common sense is going to indicate if you only have 8 years in power, because that's a limit most countries have, you know when it comes to how long you can be in power, for that matter, you can only get so many things done. And if you're going to really fix a lot of the nation's problems, like this and that, just like Obama, he says, okay, we're going to end the war, we're going to have free health care, we're going to make it possible for every day people, for example, maybe to actually who are not able to get good quality jobs, more money through welfare, like all these magical things that seem amazing to us. When you get a taste of reality, you know, quick time, when you realize you only have 8 years, you realize you can only get so many things done. It's not saying it's impossible, but it's hard to do, which leads to the third issue that also contributes to why it's hard to get shit done in only 8 years, which is people. Because the truth of the matter is in this world we live in, specifically being a North American, okay, and some parts of the world are also really bad when it comes to this issue, okay, is that a lot of people in this part of the world do not want fucking change, okay? That is the very, very, very honest truth. A lot of people who live in North America, even me as a Canadian, I can tell y'all for real, man, some people really do not really want change at all, even if it benefits someone, okay? And not even benefits someone, benefits everyone for that matter, okay? You can have the best idea ever. We can have maybe a massive hospital or something that is world class and make it possible for obviously people to have the best quality research imaginable. You can create maybe a massive high speed train that can go from one place to Canada and another literally at hundreds of miles per hour. Or of course, if you're Canadian like myself, like I already said, just to add to that, specifically referring to the Greater Toronto Area, actually fucking find a solution to the traffic problem. Guess what? For all those three things I gave as examples just now, there's going to be someone who's against it for whatever freaking reason. So if you obviously have a lot of people who just don't want things to change, and just, especially if you're only in 8 years of power, and to top it off, the biggest one of all, of course, let's not forget the fucking fact that you're pretty much under the control of corporations who don't want anything to happen for that matter. The truth of the matter is you cannot expect things to actually, really change under any politician, okay? That's the truth of the matter, okay? Even if they have good intentions, if you have all those three things I mentioned, specifically the lobbyist issue, that is created by the big corporations, the corporate control of politicians, you can't really expect anything to fucking happen. And that's the truth of the matter. So if there's a lesson learned from this video, whenever you want a politician to change things, the best thing to expect for is just somebody who's decent, even, yes, you can say mediocre, for that matter, to make things better. Okay, if you're expecting anybody who's going to be revolutionary, he's going to change the world, just like back in the days we thought Obama was pretty much going to do that as left-wing people, it's not really going to happen. Okay, not unless there's some way you can figure out how to end lobbyingism, which maybe there could be a way, to end lobbyingism. The truth of the matter is big corporations are going to control politicians, alongside the other two issues I mentioned, that definitely do not help them being able to change things. So as a result, of those things that come into place, the idea that a politician's actually going to really live up to their promises is not very likely. And that's the honest truth. So whenever you hear there's going to be this magical person, specifically from the right wing, you tend to hear it, who's going to save things, just remember it's bullshit, because it's not really going to happen. Just expect a good politician, not an amazing one who's going to save us. And that's the truth. And that's all to say, and I'm out. Bye.